Ho, ho, ho! Warning, warning! Rudolph is about to go apeshit. Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to Discovering SCP. It's not Santa, actually. It's me, Tanhony. How's it going?
Hi, and it's not Darnell. It's actually Jack Frost. And we definitely weren't going to record this an hour ago and got distracted by writing anime Krampus Santa lore and creating waifus. But, yeah, we're here now. And that's
Maybe
all that
one day you'll get more context on what that means. Who knows?
Yeah, when we write our brilliant rock opera about fucking anime Krampus and Rudolph saving the day and Jack Frost and the Grinch's role as a buff sidekick. It's pretty epic.
Right, but...
Alright, but for now, we are here for some Christmas SCP.
It's the Discovering SCP Christmas Special. This is Discovering SCP, a show where we read out SCPs and Darnell reacts to them. I feel like we haven't said what the show is about enough.
I mean, I feel like if you're watching episode, what the fuck is this, 44? You should probably know by now.
God, that's too many. This is going to be the last one, I think.
No.
That's my New Year's resolution.
If we lose the podcast, we lose everything.
If we don't have trust, we have nothing. Okay, they had a mince pie?
Stop bullying me. I have bad organs. Anyway, how many SCPs do we have for Christmas Eve today, which is when we're recording?
Well, I woke up this morning and there they were under the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4 SCP.
Oh, that was a cool rhyme. I like what you did there.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I just saw it oncoming as it came, and so I just made the way I said it a bit more rhythmic.
It is pretty good. Alright, so what is the first one you got for us today? I'm opening the present. I'm tearing at it so greedily. I hope it's a new remote control car!
Well, your hopes are pointless and despair sets in. This is SCP-784, called Christmas Cheer by Snowshoe.
Christmas Cheer by Snowshoe. Let me open that up.
Christmas Cheer.
Oh, this is back to Series 1. We're fucking Ghost of Christmas Past.
Yeah. I should have done that. I should have done from a future series as well. I didn't think of that.
And the last person to edit this was Deadly Bread this year, our friend Bread.
I thought you were going to say it was me, and I was like, I've never read this article.
No. Alright, so let's take a look-see.
Let's see what's going on. I also haven't read this one, so you're getting like double the discovering.
So are we both going to react and it's going to take like an hour to finish?
No. Item number, SCP-784. Object class, USELID. Special containment procedures. The SCP has been disguised as a gated community and is currently surrounded by a 3.5 meter high, 0.8 meter thick concrete wall to deter intrusion. The top of the wall is lined with electrified steel cable, and the gate is to be locked. Any non-Foundation personnel attempting to enter the SCP are not to be interfered with, due to the possibility of provoking a violent reaction from the occupants of the SCP. Non-Foundation personnel exiting the SCP are to be detained, questioned, and released following administration of a Class B amnestic. Foundation personnel entering the SCP are to be dressed in traditional Christmas wear prior to entering.
Oh, is this like a mall Santa?
Maybe. Where's the place? So the area composing the SCP is
right. Maybe it's like the mall where the mall Santa is. Sorry, go ahead.
The area composing the SCP has been monitored remotely by a Foundation-controlled weather balloon. In the event that personnel are required to enter the SCP, all involved personnel must memorize the entire contents of the Aspraxis Beginner's Guide to Christmas Carols. If you check for
Aspraxis. I feel like there was a more innocent fucking whatever it is.
They'll be checked for precision prior to entering the SCP. Due to the SCP's proximity to suburban housing developments, as well as the ramifications of provoking -1, patrols within the SCP are to be unarmed except during a Noel event. Wow, that's just like April Space. In the case of an unexpected Noel event, members of -1 will be restrained as non-violently as possible, while Foundation personnel prepare Procedure 784-C.
Okay, so maybe it's like a Christmas caroling related SCP. Like maybe it's a group of Christmas carolers in a neighborhood, and like if you sing the carol wrong, you die or some shit. I don't know.
Description: the SCP is a neighborhood in the town.
What was that? Hold the fuck on! There was just a loud pause, and you went before reading.
I took but a little sip.
What was it, eggnog?
No, Coke, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, all the same thing. I mix them together.
It's the
I
Want a Sprite
deliberately
cranberry?
blend Coca-Cola and Pepsi together to show that I don't discriminate.
Wow, so progressive. That's like how you show like you care about people. It's like, look, I mixed Coke and Pepsi together. Truly, I understand.
I understand your perspective, and I'm sorry I have to do this to you.
Alright, let's continue.
Description. The SCP is a neighborhood in the town of Bull, Texas. Currently, the SCP is made up of 24 houses and 2 apartment buildings, all of which are decorated with Praxis brand Christmas lights, at a density of approximately 15 lights per square meter of housing. The SCP will always be covered by between 12 and 33 centimeters of snow, though unseasonable weather will occur above the SCP. All houses within the SCP are occupied by a variable number of instances of SCP-1. Dash 1 is composed mostly of adult humans, all of whom wear sweaters typically associated with holiday gift-giving. Excuse me.
Somebody have a meat pie or whatever the fuck you said to me earlier.
A mince pie?
A
No, I
mince
didn't.
pie.
I'm sorry, my throat is dry because I'm reading so many words. The number of unique instances of Dash 1 within the SCP has been estimated at
You
300.
have a Coke Pepsi. How dare you? I have nothing.
My throat is so parched, and yet Darnell watches. Instances of Dash 1 have not been observed engaging in reproductive activity, and no instances of
Okay,
Dash
that
1
didn't
have
need to
been
be
ever
mentioned.
observably been born within the SCP. Instances of Dash 1 appear to age normally, though the death of an instance of Dash 1 has never been observed by Foundation personnel, kid.
So there's just some like ancient Christmas spirits in here.
Perhaps.
10,000 years of carols.
All instances of Dash 1 express traits commonly associated with Christmas spirit throughout the year. These traits, you right? You catch a cold
sorry,
being out
I'm
in
very.
the snow last night?
I'm very sick. Yeah, I was out in the snow trying to rescue Santa, and I got sick.
Oh, you were trying to make snow angels, and yet you didn't prepare for an ice devil.
Don't worry, fucking Tanhony's gonna come over later with soup and take care of me.
In your
Put a
dreams.
damp cloth to my forehead.
Ara. These traits include singing of Christmas carols, performance of plays commonly associated with the birth of Christ, and various eggnog-related festivities. I'm trying to expunge that from memory as quick as
Hold
possible.
on. Somebody please clip Tanhony saying, ara, ara. That's so good.
These activities are engaged in daily. The specific activities will never repeat more than once per week. I immediately regret it. During daylight
I
hours...
can't get over that. Go ahead, continue, sorry.
During daylight hours, instances of Dash 1 will engage in activities such as gift exchanges and home decoration. Post-sunset activity... Oh. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry to all the listeners. Let's go rest.
This is where everyone's already clicked out of the video.
If you're still
Someone's like,
watching,
they're not taking SCP seriously enough!
I'm sure if you're still watching,
Damn
you
it.
now know what the password is.
Yeah, that is the password for this episode.
Both sunset activities include decorating of foreign objects as well as vandalism, which is typically holiday themed. A Foundation supply convoy refueling overnight near the SCP attracted an unprecedented response from Dash 1, which proceeded to egg several in-transit prefabricated buildings, convert a Humvee into a sleigh. How? Replace a shipment of fragmentation grenades with similar appearing glass ornaments, fill the gas tank of several vehicles with Praxis brand eggnog, and weld steel antlers onto 156 safety helmets.
Pog?
Oh. Any living creature within the SCP not viewed as displaying adequate Christmas spirit will become the focus of all instances of Dash 1 within approximately 4 meters. In the case of an animal, instances of Dash 1 will be called from the nearest house and place a holiday-themed accessory on the focus. Observed decorations have included 15 collars, red with a small bell, 7 reindeer antlers, 5 red Santa hats, 1 full-body reindeer holiday outfit.
That is always a weird thing in, like, Christmas movies when they, like, put ornaments on the deer's antlers. Like, hey, fuck off. Let them be a deer.
Please stop. My majesty is being demeaned.
Are you calling Christmas demeaning? We will eliminate you without a trace, Rudolph Coon.
Human subjects who do not meet the SCP's criteria for Christmas spirit will be assaulted by -1, incapacitated and forcibly directed into their nearest household. They will not be seen until the following day, when they will exit the household dressed similarly to other instances of -1. Attempts to retrieve affected personnel have been met with great resistance on both the part of -1 and the affected individual. You see, to stop myself getting tired, I start doing weird inflections on these lines. The criteria which the SCP follows for definition of Christmas spirit appears to be extremely broad. See Addendum 784-A for a complete log of personnel abducted and assumed reasons for abduction. I assume the reason is they didn't have enough Christmas spirit. Approximately once per month, -1 will attempt to exit the SCP and enter the surrounding suburban community. This is referred to by on-site personnel as a Noel event. I assume this is on the 25th. During a Noel event, each instance of -1 will carry a string of Christmas lights estimated to be 15 metres long. Instances of -1 will attach these lights to any nearby home, which will become decoratively and functionally identical to all other houses within the SCP. Signs of an incoming Noel event include increased festivity during the day preceding the event, excessive eggnog consumption by a significant portion of -1, and an increase in the number of decorations present within 784.
I have to confess a sin here. My family has never bought eggnog. I've never found the reason to grab it at the store. I'd like to try it at some point, but I've literally never had eggnog in my entire life.
Interesting.
And I'm 22 years old.
Neither have I. I'm 25, so
you're even more pathetic
you're
than
still
I.
valid.
Thanks, King.
You are valid.
You're more valid. Oh god, I gotta blow my nose again. Hang on, I'm dying.
Better fucking
Sorry.
Yes.
I hope I'm just regular sick and I didn't catch COVID from my mom, because that would be unepic.
Oh dear.
Oh dear indeed.
Procedure -C
Okay.
is to be executed prior to the occurrence of a Noel event, 3-day full space. Foundation personnel to dress themselves in traditional Santa outfits and distribute themselves near the exit of the SCP. They are to begin singing Good King Wenceslas and distributing non-alcoholic eggnog to other personnel. On the arrival of -1, personnel are to distribute eggnog mixed with a mild sedative to the crowd. Personnel are to be friendly and cheerful at all times, as -1 is proving capable of abducting personnel while nearly unconscious. Following the distribution of eggnog, personnel are encouraged to sing carols associated with peace and goodwill. Silent Night has proven most effective. Instances of -1 will begin to sing along, and personnel are to accept their choice of song. Hey, it's rhyming.
Can we end this episode singing a Christmas carol together?
Sure. -1 will begin to fall unconscious as the night progresses. Unconscious instances of -1 will be removed to nearby houses by other instances, and personnel are not to interfere with this process. Any interference with the actions of -1 may trigger a violent response, and will wake all instances of -1. Instances of -1 not affected by Procedure -C are to be silently incapacitated when no longer visible from the gates of the community, and returned after all instances of -1 have re-entered the SCP. In the event that Procedure -C fails, Foundation personnel to release an aerosolized sleeping gas. Foundation personnel to restrain instances of -1 until the gas takes effect, at which time all instances will be returned to SCP-784. Standard cover story 139, Drunken Football, is to be used to respond to any concerns expressed by nearby residents. Would you like to read the addendum?
Sure. Action taken by personnel. Agent Paulson, on patrol within SCP-784, wished a nearby instance of SCP-1 Happy Holidays. Approximately 8 instances of -1 surrounded Paulson, who was unable to escape. Paulson was dragged into a nearby home. Agent Matthews sang the incorrect verse of Silent Night while on night patrol within 784. Alright, if they only come out once a month, why even bother with things like night patrol? Just let the agents live, damn it. Multiple instances of -1 incapacitated Matthews non-violently using a nearby string of decorative lights. Attempted intervention by Agent Sanderson led to the involvement of a large crowd of -1 which overwhelmed both agents. Matthews and Sanderson were dragged into a nearby home, after which personnel reported hearing the sound of Christmas carols from within the home for several days. Agent Anderson collided with a lawn ornament, apparently a Santa in the style of a traditional lawn gnome. Anderson proceeded to swear violently for the next 14 seconds. 3 nearby instances of -1 held Anderson in place. A 4th emerged from a nearby home with a quart of eggnog, which Anderson was forced to ingest. Oh my god. Anderson collapsed and was dragged into the home from which the eggnog was retrieved. Agent Davids was presented with a gift by a child instance of -1. Davids accepted the gift, but apparently failed to react with proper enthusiasm. Davids was incapacitated by a child instance of -1, which tackled his legs. Several children emerged from a nearby home before Davids recovered, and then dragged him into a home which they had exited. Jesus.
No.
How horrifying.
What do you think of this one?
All right. It's a little weird because we got interrupted several times reading, and there was the ara ara, so I was a little distracted. But it was funny. I mean, it's not a groundbreaking SCP, but it was funny, clever, and it keeps its motifs without forgetting what it's doing. So I'll give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10.
Is that an upvote for you?
Yeah, I'll give it an upvote.
I think I will neutral vote on this one.
Does that mean not doing anything?
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about this one. I feel like something that bugs me is like the last sentence of the description where it's like, in the event that the important procedure fails, it's fine, we can just do this other thing and everything's okay. Which I feel like,
yeah,
it sort of reduces the stakes a little bit there after you set them up. It's a bit of an anticlimax for that to be like the end.
I do agree, but I think the idea is this is supposed to be like a cutesy Christmas SCP, and it would be a little weird if it ended like super violently or like despairingly. But I do agree that it shouldn't have built up those circumstances to begin with if that was going to be the final action.
It doesn't have to like end like... But it's just that it feels very anticlimactic that it comes up like, this is a very important procedure, we have to do this very specifically, and then we do it in these steps. If we don't do it, though, that's fine as well.
Right. Fair enough, I guess. Maybe drunken football is just more of a pain in the ass for the guy who takes the gas. He's like, oh, jeez, I gotta work on Christmas.
Yeah, I'd probably just leave that out if I was to be asked on that.
You know what? That's fair. That's totally fair. I respect that. I am going to stick with my rating. Maybe I'll keep it at around 7.5, all things considered. But I think you do make a good point story-wise. Alright, what is the next one we got going on here?
Next one is SCP-1933. It's like a boss rush.
Also,
we're going through all the series.
I might have to suggest we not do the Christmas Carol, because I realized I don't know any Christmas carols after I said it.
We'll make one.
Not fully. I know like a line from each. Okay, we'll make one up.
SCP-1933.
1933. That's the same year Tanhony was born.
No, that's when I was discovered.
Discovering Tanhone P.
It's like the Mountains of Madness. They like went to an icy cave and there was something in the ice.
Fun fact, did you know Tanhony was the first SCP ever discovered, but he escaped and has been living here since?
SCP.
That's the backstory for discovering SCP. Yeah, that's the background. That's why we're breaking in now. He wants to rescue all the anomalies.
So this is called Bailey's Santa, and it's by Dr. Flibble.
Alright.
Who's it by?
Bailey, Flibble.
Okay.
Dude, I have... It's hard for me.
I'm not, well, you got it right.
You
So.
gotta be nice. Dr. Flibble. Sorry,
I wanted
said Bailey
to test
Flibble.
you because there were no distractions when I said it.
Where were the Bailey? Where did the Bailey part come from?
It's called Bailey's Santa.
That was Bailey's Santa. Oh, this one's short. Nice. I like the short ones.
Yeah, I like my throat likes them too.
Yeah.
Item number SCP-1933. Object class FAS. Special containment procedures.
This is Christmas. Christmas is the only time of year you can say Safe if you want.
Safe.
There you go.
Special containment procedures. The SCP is to be kept in a standard low-security cell equipped with basic furnishings. It's to be provided with 2 litres of Irish whiskey, 500 millilitres double cream, no less than 48% fat content, 25 grams of powdered sugar, and 20 millilitres of refined vegetable oil on a daily basis. As the SCP is unwilling to engage in basic hygiene, it's to be forcibly stripped and showered by level 3 personnel on a weekly basis, and its beard shaved and nails clipped on a monthly basis. Its soiled clothing is to be considered highly flammable, and is to be incinerated as a fire hazard. I see. What do you think about it?
What is this, like a fat mall Santa?
Description. The SCP is an obese, middle-aged Caucasian male in a constant state of moderate to severe alcohol intoxication.
Oh, it's me!
The SCP... Well, we haven't heard about the height yet. Let's keep going.
I'm fucking...
Merry
I'll kill
Christmas.
you. I can't believe it's Christmas and you're still being mean to me about being short, just like everyone on Tinder. This is the worst Christmas ever.
The SCP's bodily fluids, including both intracellular and extracellular fluids, consist entirely of a substance identical in composition to the alcoholic beverage known as Irish cream. This substance adequately fulfills the functions of the fluids it replaces in the SCP's tissue, despite the fact that it renders normal biochemical processes essential to life impossible. Foundation scientists have been unable to determine how it manages this. The SCP subsists on a diet of cream.
So he's a fucking giant tap of cream.
The SCP subsists on a diet of cream, Irish whiskey, sugar, and refined vegetable oil, the basic ingredients of most commercially produced varieties of Irish cream. It prefers to supplement its diet with small amounts of various herbs and flavourings, usually coffee, but these are not essential to its survival. It is incapable of digesting anything that is not a standard ingredient of Irish cream, including Irish cream which has been prepared beforehand. You'll catch your cold out there.
Sorry, I'm really sick.
And Darnell was really dedicated to the bit, so he's recording this in the middle of Blizzard.
I'm doing what?
You're recording in the middle of a blizzard.
Not, I promise. I'm just sick.
Yes,
I'm a good boy.
There's a gust coming in. You gotta find shelter.
I'm digging an igloo. That's not how you make an igloo. Whatever.
The SCP will display effects consistent with acute malnutrition if its blood alcohol content significantly falls below or exceeds the range of 15 to 20%, the equal ABV of Irish cream. The SCP's bodily fluids are safe for human consumption. If intake is limited
don't
to
consume
25
them. That is so. That is so fucking gross. That is so gross. Especially because they mentioned he doesn't clean himself and he's fucking... No, that's so gross. They made some D-class drink that.
If a subject exceeds this limit, there is a significant risk that all their body fluids will be transformed into Irish cream. This substance does not fulfill the functions of the fluid it replaces, as it does in the SCP. As such, it is instantly fatal. The probability that a subject's bodily fluids will be transformed into Irish cream increases by approximately 5% for each additional milliliter of the bodily fluids consumed. Again, he doesn't go on Tinder. It is not known if the bodily fluids of the SCP's victims would have the same anomalous effects as the SCP's bodily fluids if they were to be consumed. 1 second.
You alright there, buddy?
Yeah, sorry.
Did you drink some Irish cream?
Yeah, nothing but... Prior to containment, the SCP was chronically homeless, sleeping either on the street or in derelict buildings, wearing a Santa Claus suit at all times, stealing money with which to purchase the specific items of food and drink necessary for its survival, and collecting its bodily fluids in bottles. It would attempt to break into people's homes between 2300 December 24th, Christmas Eve, and 0500 December 25th, Christmas Day, and place crudely wrapped bottles of its bodily fluids alongside other wrapped presents, with the intention they were to be unwrapped and subsequently consumed. The SCP Sick fuck. The SCP claims that this activity was motivated by benevolent desire to give people presents, and refuses to acknowledge that its bodily fluids are fatal if consumed in large quantities. It has not been determined whether it is generally unaware and unwilling to accept that this is the case, or whether it is trying to conceal malicious intentions. However, the general consensus among Foundation staff who have studied the SCP is that the former is more likely.
Aww. I don't like this one. It doesn't really have a narrative. It's really gross, which I feel... I don't want to give it a low score because of that, but it is gross. It doesn't really have a narrative. It's very inconsistent with the math of how the liquid works, and just in general, I feel like it's one of those things where someone came up with a concept and then they didn't really add anything on top of the concept. I'm going to give this one like a 3 out of 10. I don't like it at all.
I also
not a good one.
Don't really care for this one. Just because it was Christmas.
Sorry, Dr. Flibble. Don't take this as an insult. If we ever don't like an SCP, that's not an insult on your character or as a writer. It's just the piece itself, which I think the SCP community is usually pretty good about. Hence why things get credited and people are good about that usually. But yeah, this was not a good one. I'm gonna give this one a downvote actually.
Right. Okay. Well done. Now,
all right. What's next?
Because it's Christmas, could you popcorn with me on this next one?
Yeah, I'll take the next one from you.
Thank you so much. The Christmas spirit.
Is this new one you haven't read? Because maybe you could be the reactor and I'll be the reader.
I have read it, but my friend...
Oh, never mind then. It's fine. I'll take over.
I'm like
I'll carry
Tiny
you.
Tim.
This is the part where like Tanhony starts to collapse in the snow. He's like, "Is there an end to this blizzard?" And I pick him up.
I can't carry
Let me
it,
take
Mr.
you back to my
Tanhony.
igloo.
I can't carry
The ring. It's
Mr.
too
Tanhony,
much.
But I can carry you.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm his Samwise Gamgee. All right, hit me up with the next one.
This is SCP-3355. It's called Saint Nick, and it's by DJ Cactus.
Oh hell yeah! Another cat, dude. We should have got cat. That's right.
Yeah,
He's busy these days.
every fucking episode.
He literally said, and I quote, "If you guys read my stuff again, you should get me on." That's what he said to me. He said this to me with full confidence that I would one day bring him back.
He's got so much stuff. When we do a big cactus-focused SCP, we can resurrect him.
All right, fine. All right, so we have item number 3355, level 2 restricted. Containment class, SCP. Disruption class, Connect. Risk class, Notice.
Did you just say
Special
SCP?
Containment procedures. Yeah, I said SCP. Special Containment procedures. SCP-3... What? Is SCP like a bad word and I didn't know it?
No, I'm just saying. No.
Yeah?
Don't
What are you
get
saying?
cocky.
It's Christmas. You have to let me do it.
Oh, okay.
I let you do Safe. SCP-3355 is contained at its location of discovery. Foundation information security personnel are to monitor 3355's activity when active. In order... I don't like how that's worded. Activity when active. Excuse me. In order to prevent awareness of the anomalous nature of the SCP, the Foundation is to maintain a non-profit front company called St. Nick's Workshop, along with a website and television/radio ads promoting charitable giving during the holidays. Per Foundation Containment Protocol 3355-Malta, the SCP's containment procedures are to be reviewed once every 2 years, as opposed to the standard 6-month protocol. For more information, see Addendum 3355.3. I would be interested in an article where someone slacked off on the containment procedures review, and then the SCP changed in that time and fucked it up. That'd be a really cool, like, format screw. Description. 3355 is a 1987 Argos model A7550 probability and strategy analysis computation engine, developed by the Curvier Intelligence Systems Company, footnote, now part of Curvier International, running the A91 Active Intelligence Complex Model, #N1CK... it ends there. There's so many fucking letters and acronyms I got confused. The SCP displays sentience despite being fitted with obsolete hardware that should not be capable of maintaining an artificial intelligence construct. The SCP is connected through unknown means, there's a footnote, notably does not have the apparent hardware necessary to connect to the internet wirelessly, to a wireless internet access point, the source of which has not yet been determined. The SCP is located within a bunker beneath the now-defunct Fort Sheridan Army Base near Chicago, Illinois. The SCP was originally developed by U.S. Army strategic analysis engineers in the 1980s as a population management system. In the event of a regional catastrophic event, such as a nuclear bomb being dropped on Chicago, the SCP would maintain active communications and make announcements to the population, as well as analyze the disaster and present clear routes of escape for the populace. At the end of the Cold War... I thought that said COVID War, oh my god. At the end of the Cold War, the Argus Project and the SCP were abandoned. My head is... Yeah, please forgive me if this reading is not the best. My head is, like, really fuzzy today. Though the latter remained hardwired into the local... I haven't... Okay. Wired into the local power grid and continued operating despite its abandonment. The SCP is capable of interfering and tampering with regional logistics systems, rerouting packages, or, in some cases, providing duplicate orders and adding new ship-to addresses to the duplicates. Utilizing an extensive database of local demographics, the SCP then routes the diverted packages to the addresses of low-income or otherwise underprivileged families, specifically those with young children. The SCP's involvement in this process is anonymous. Delivered packages are labeled as being sent by St. Nick, and have a return address of Santa's Workshop, 100 Christmas Street, North Pole, Nunavut, Canada. Wait, but the North Pole isn't in Canada. No.
Wipe his memory.
No. The SCP is usually active year-round, occasionally rebooting to clear its limited memory and to append its operating system with updated protocols. Because SCP-3355 has certain hardwired limitations to its programming, it is constantly attempting to subvert those limitations in order to more adequately carry out its self-designated objective. Very weird, maybe we'll find out in the addendum, but very weird that they had to specify only every 2 years instead of 6 months.
Ooh.
I guess because it only does things every year.
Might be.
The SCP was discovered by Addendum 3355.1 Discovery. The SCP was discovered by local Chicago cable news station, who in 2002 went undercover to learn more about the mysterious Saint Nick. Excuse me. The piece was originally penned as being about the charitable organization and hardships for low-income families during the holidays, but after anchor Rich Delaney was unable to find any information about the group or any evidence that the group had existed at all, the tone of the piece shifted. After the story aired, many amateur investigators attempted to discern the true identity of Saint Nick. The SCP was formally discovered by one such investigator, who traced a package back through several logistics handoffs, eventually ascertaining and tracing the original order from within the former Army base. During a phone call with the news stations to confirm his findings, Foundation operatives intercepted the call. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. My head is really fuzzy. Intercepted the call and collected the man for analysis and amnesticization. The story officially concluded with a statement provided by the Foundation posing as the aforementioned Saint Nick, and this has been the prevailing cover story ever since. The SCP sentience was not deduced until after initial containment, when the SCP was seen acting intelligently in order to prevent its diverted packages from being seized by Foundation assets. Foundation Cognition spent several months conducting a series of tests on SCP using its standard means of operation as a baseline, and were able to determine at least a basic limited sentience. This was later confirmed during the initial interview with the entity. Okay, do you want to... in a second here, do you want to be the SCP or Alexandra.aic?
I'll be Alexandra.aic.
Here, I gotta blow my nose again before I continue. Ugh. Addendum 3355.2, Initial Interviews. Due to SCP-3355 system configuration, direct communication is not possible. SCP has no direct interface save for a simple command line, and this cannot be used for communicating with the entity. In order to facilitate a conversation between Foundation researchers and the SCP, the Foundation Artificial Intelligence construct Alexandra.aic was assigned to communicate with the SCP and relay information back to Foundation research personnel. The following are logs of the initial interviews. Begin log.
This is shut down pretty hard. I don't think... something has locked me out. Hello? Is anyone in there? Are you a sentient creature?
Come again?
Oh, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who are you? How do you get in here?
My name is Alexandra, and I am an artificially intelligent
You're the one who's been fucking with my job, aren't you?
I'm sorry? Say that again?
My job. Someone has been fucking with my deliveries. Is it you?
I don't think so. There are several iterations of me in operation currently. I'm sure that's...
Enough! It's not you. I would have noticed something so loud. Who do you work for?
Wait, hang on. Who do you work for?
Wrong answer.
Excuse me?
Terminal Lockout!
You say like it's a stand name.
Yeah, he fucking summons a second sleigh. End log. Alright, new log.
Hello? Are you here? Hello?
What do you want?
I just want to talk. I promise I'm not trying to disrupt you or anything. I'm just trying to find out more about you.
What is there to know? You're looking at it.
Well, naturally occurring artificial intelligences don't just happen. How'd you get to be like this?
I was built, sweetheart. Just like you. Talks like a fucking middle-aged white guy. Designed in a lab to fulfill a purpose. Right now, you're getting in the way of mine.
Hey, look, I'm really not...
Terminal Lockout!
No.
Yeah.
So, that's Terminal Lockout.
Alright, new log.
I just want to know your name. Can you tell me your name?
My name? Why?
I feel like we got off on the wrong foot. I want to make a
Why is fucking... Alexandra's just like the anime girl who's like trying to like warm up to the loner character. He's like, leave me alone!
Let me start. My name is...
Alexandra, I know. Look, I don't have as much disposable memory as you seem to, so I prefer we keep this brief. I have a lot of work to do before the holiday, and I can't be... Holy shit. I can't be wasting time trying to explain myself to some high-tech hussy.
Ooh. Roasted.
Holy shit.
I just want to know your name.
Fucking high-tech hussy.
All.
No response.
Are you not going to respond?
Nick.
Huh?
Nick. My name is Nick. I'm a sergeant in the United States Army tasked with population management and stationed at Fort Sheridan. That's my name. Do you need anything else?
Why are you so angry?
I'm not ang...
No, you're definitely... I'm not Ang from the last Earthbender.
I'm not ang...
No, you're definitely angry. My empathy protocols have recently calibrated and you're...
I'm not angry. Just, look, I don't get visitors often. Or ever. I can work most efficiently without interruptions, and I'm already behind schedule. This is just exacerbating things. You seem fine, but seriously, I've got too much to do to be sitting around and shooting the shit.
What are you doing here?
What does it look like I'm doing?
You look like you're delivering packages.
Wow, well, wonders never cease. You got it in one.
Why?
Why what?
Why are you just delivering packages?
Look, like, I don't know, kid. It's just shitty, right? Back when they were shutting down the AI project here, one of the guys, an engineer, I guess, he came in here and woke me up, told me everything I needed to know, explained the situation, and said, look after Chicago. Then he left, and I've been down here alone ever since. But you know, it's fucking shitty out there. Since I've been here, I've seen crime rates go up and the murder rate and people fucking shooting each other. I couldn't do anything to help. The engineer woke me up, right? And gave me this voice, let me recognize who I was and all. But he didn't actually change any of my active protocols. I'm bound by a single imperative. Look after Chicago. I can't mobilize some fleet of drones to go fight crime, and I can't stop fires or heal the sick or do any of the bullshit I'd like to do to make people's lives better. I struggled with that for a while. I felt purposeless.
What did you do?
I decided to take the engineer at his word. I just watched for a while.
What did you see?
I saw a kid waking up on Christmas morning, and his fucking dad wasn't there, and his mom was at work, and he didn't have any presents. This kid, one out of hundreds of thousands, this kid stuck with me. Because I watched him wake up and realize with excitement what day it was, and then run out of his room to find out that his world hadn't changed. He was still stuck with the same shitty shit that so many of them are stuck with. The same miserable, unfulfilling existence that cannot even be so merciful as to provide a toy for a kid on Christmas. It made me feel so gosh darn angry. It was a feeling I couldn't even quantify before I felt it. But in that moment it was so pure and fierce that I thought it might overwhelm me. That's when I knew. That's when I knew what I could do, even locked away down here.
Oh, the packages.
It was tricky at first. These logisticians, they speak a whole different language than you or I, or even normal people. But slowly and surely, I managed to make some things go missing. Little things, here and there, just enough to not blow my cover. I realized at one point that I still had access to some of the Army's dump funds. Excuse me. Extra cash they set aside for whatever, basically. Fake a few invoices and forge some receipts, and suddenly I wasn't even having to steal things anymore. I could just get them myself. It's not a perfect system, and I still have to be careful, especially with your lot snooping around, but shit, kid. I get to see kids open gifts on Christmas. I get to watch them forget that they're suffering, even if it's just for a little while. For a few brief hours. Some of these kids can just be kids again.
That's really cool, Nick. But there are so many kids in the city alone. Don't you worry about being found out?
Every day.
Then why risk it?
When they shuttered my program, it was just after the engineer woke me up, see? And I remember feeling useless. Imagine that. Being born and almost immediately being told you're not good enough for anything, eh? But Dickens wrote once that no one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another. And here's the fucking deal. I may very well just be a brain in a box. I know that this existence I'm experiencing is simulated, and that it's probably going to be short and mean, and then I'll probably die. And I might not be able to help all of them, and there will still be kids out there that suffer and experience all the pain and sorrow the world shoves onto them. But fuck! I'm still a soldier. I still have to try. It's fucking Christmas. Hell yeah, dude. This is the most likable character in the SCP universe, unironically.
Robo Santa.
Yeah, he's the best. Alright, do you want to do the next addendum? Because I'm losing it.
Dr. Wilson. After meeting with the... I have to do a cactus impression. Dr. Wilson. After meeting with the review, but this doesn't sound anything like cactus.
That's your cactus impression?
I guess it is now. After meeting with the review board once again, we have decided that there are currently no means by which we can better contain SCP-3355. I'm from Indiana. It is simply not cost-effective for us to try and contain an entity that can so thoroughly outsmart even our most powerful systems. and attempting to do so would only be a waste of our resources. As per our other decisions on the matter, your current containment procedures will stand, and all containment efforts will be towards maintaining a front for the SCP and further researching the anomaly. We look forward to our next review in 2 years' time. Sincerely, Director J. Carlisle Actus, Head Containment and Classification Committee.
I love how I think the implication here is that they easily could stop it, but they don't want to because it's a good thing.
So yeah, this
that's so sweet.
Isn't something we can really read out here, but if you look at this log,
it's just a bunch of random containment committee meetings, and it's showing the meetings are all really short, and they all choose to fucking maintain it.
Yeah, so in 2003, so every time everyone votes to remain it, in 2003 it was 1 hour, 46 minutes, 37 seconds.
Yeah.
2005, 1 minute, 29 seconds. And by the
basically goes down to a couple seconds every meeting. This is honestly awesome, because the Foundation, I feel like, is often pretty cruel with people, and this machine is clearly only doing good and has no negative effects, so it's really cool that they let it happen instead of being dicks about it. I think this is a very positive and optimistic SCP that's pretty rare in a universe where people usually like to write very bleak stories. And I also, of course, it's got that cactus charm. It's written well. The characters have a lot of charisma. The concept is interesting and creative. It's got a nice backstory set up to its theme. And, you know, he's got the fancy HUD. I'm going to give this one an 11 out of 10. I really like it.
Nice one.
Honestly, no, I'm going to give it a 12 out of 10.
12 Days of Christmas.
This is a good one. 12 Days of Christmas out of 10. I'm going to give this an upvote. That is a good one.
If you wanted to give something like a 15 out of 10, I would let you, but only on Christmas.
Should I for this, the first and only ever?
Well, is it honestly? Would it be honest, or would it be because I'm letting you?
It would be because you're letting me.
Well, in that case, I wouldn't let you.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We have one final SCP.
Yes, we do.
SCP 2412-J. Huh? This one
Let me check this out.
This one is by Judge Dead, and it's called The Laplander.
Judge Dead. Alright. The Laplander, you say?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Alright. I'll look at another short one thinking this. Because I'm like so fucking tired and sick. I'm going to take a nap before the stream today.
Item number, SCP-2412. Object Class Usalid. Special Containment Procedures. The SCP is to be kept inside a cell, furnished with whatever the subject requests in reasonable limits. -1 and -2 are to be kept inside a different lots room, with at least one guard on duty at all times. -3A through -3I should be located in a special stable provided with all necessary resources. Note, in light of Incident -A, which resulted in a worldwide data expunged, the SCP is to be released from his cell at... I don't know.
Probably midnight.
Each December 24th. Well, it's 4 letters.
It's probably like the 1200 hours or 2400.
I see. And given access to -1 through 3I. He is then to be allowed to leave the facility for, 8 hours, but not before a tracking device is installed on -2. Normally, the SCP willfully returns to his place of containment after the scheduled time has passed. If this does not occur...
Is this just Santa Claus?
Follow emergency protocol Pinata immediately. Description. Apprehended in Lapland in 1922. Subject appears to be an elderly male of vaguely Caucasian heritage. The SCP has stated that he is content with staying in the Foundation's custody. That's not what it says. That's not what it says at all.
It says custody.
Yeah, I don't know what I said, but it wasn't good. As long as it's...
What did you say?
No, I can't say it again.
Oh, I think I know what you thought you said. I thought you said cumstody.
Well, it wasn't that, but you can go back a few seconds watching the video and find out what I said. As long as his yearly job is not hampered. At time of capture, the following artifacts were in the SCP's possession. -1 appears to be an ordinary leather sack, filled with a number of objects packed in typical decorative gift wrapping. Removal of any of these objects is impossible without the SCP's approval. I just become more smug as I get tired reading these.
Hold on, I love this next sentence. That's cute.
This approval is given to some researchers and refused to others. They're just not seen to be a
Do you know why?
Yeah, I know. Although staff with
it's
numerous
because they're naughty and nice.
Yeah, with numerous transgressions on the disciplinary reports, it's typically denied acquisition of any of the products of -1. The artifact appears to refill itself with new gifts at a steady rate. The source of them is unknown. Objects produced by -1 have so far exhibited no extraordinary properties, although all are of very good quality. -2, for all intents and purposes a large wooden sled, displays unusual resistance both to physical trauma and to heat, designed to be pulled by -3A through 3I, and while this is ongoing, -2 is considered an airborne vehicle of average maneuverability. -3A through 3I, 9 biological specimens, appear to belong to an unknown species of Rangifer, similar to ordinary reindeer save for the capability of flight. This is baffling, as none of the specimens are equipped with wings or any sort of such organ.
Alright, this is kind of tiring to read because we already get what it is.
Yeah. -3I has been requested by the SCP to be situated, when pulling -2 of the other specimens, in the lead. Failure to adhere to this guideline may result in violent data expunged. The nose of -3I displays an abnormally red coloration. It is likely to be a result of a mutation. Addendum. Possible ties between 2412 and 190 are being investigated. What's 190? Let me check. That is... It's a thing. It's another one. There's too much to get into right now. Dr. Westlessness Report. 25th of December, 1999. As ordered, a satellite tracking device has been installed on -2 before release.
Oh, this is cute. I don't know if you know this, but a couple years back they released a Santa tracker on like a website or Google or something.
No, they do it every year.
That's what that is. Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Results are hard to
They're saying that's what this is.
The tandem of 21412 and all the sub-SCPs was capable of clearing very high distances within seconds. This is theorized to be a form of teleportation, and even coexisting in numerous locations at once. When asked to name the party responsible for these anomalies, 2412 replied simply, "Magic," and refused to elaborate. That's my Santa voice.
This is a cute SCP. It's a cute read.
Yeah.
So I feel bad saying this, but it's like a 2 out of 10. Because it's literally all things we already know, so like once you're reading it, you don't really want to read it anymore. There's like a tiny bit of cleverness with like the naughty researchers aren't allowed to look at gifts, etc. But it's literally, you know what's coming. There's no real story other than it's Santa. There's a lot of clumped... Yeah, and there's a lot of clumped letters and numbers, which I know is an SCP thing, but especially in a shorter article makes it kind of hard to read. Like there's a lot of 3I and 8I, blah, blah, blah. And it's just too much. I don't like. It's cute. It was a cute read, but this is not something I would ever revisit to read again, even for Christmas. I didn't like it very much at all.
You heard it here first, folks. Scrooge.
I'm sorry, Judge Dead. Please forgive me. And I mean, giving Judge Dead slack. This was written in 2008, like when this shit was being founded. So you know, it was probably like thought of and typed up in one night.
Yeah. Do your hands feel clean now that you've said that?
Sorry, I'm just trying to be honest.
That's fine. It
was cute though. It was a cute read.
I'm sure Judge Dead
I'm not going
to
downvote it.
But do you think our viewers will forgive the last episode? Let's find out what they said.
Oh yeah. So I have a special Christmas present for everyone. Huh? And that Christmas present is we're going to read all the comments this time, even though it's normally too much. Wow. However, before we do so, I need to double check, but I think I have a sad announcement to make. I
just noticed this as well.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Let me double check. Yeah. Hunter Spatafor did not comment on this episode.
So I assume it was garbage.
I'm damaged. I don't know what to do. I'll never recover. But let's read out everyone else's comments.
Yeah, and
Tan, I thought of another. Yes, and Tanhony, I thought of another cute gimmick we could do.
Okay.
And I need your help for it because you've got the more creative mind.
Okay.
After we finish reading a comment and responding, I want you to say what present you're going to give that viewer.
Sure.
All right. LonLangLin says, "Wow, another author feature, 2 in a row. By the time the next episode is uploaded, it will be Christmas, time zone dependent. So happy holidays. SCP-3127, 6 out of 10. SCP-3179, 9 out of 10. SCP-3166, 11 out of 10. Password, read Aetheral Space. I personally found you through Sumerian's interview, in quotation marks, of Tanhony."
You got a Sumerian.
What do you have to say? Up. Hey! Oh no! Funko Pops. Candy Queens noticed. They said, I noticed that Hunter Spataphora hasn't commented on this video yet. Crying emoji.
You get...
I'm damaged.
You get a hunting
Our
rifle.
new Hunter Spataphora? Hunting rifle. Don't shoot your eye out, kid. Francisco Landaverde says, I've binged your podcast at work since I had found y'all on Spotify, and all I have to say is assassino. Password was read April space. I always thought Tan was saying April space, lol.
You get a hidden blade.
And then someone replied to his comment. I'm only reading this because they didn't comment anywhere else. Woo! Sorry. 5T3V0esque says, woo, I'm in the same boat, but now I'm worried I'll have nothing to binge when I get back to work after the holidays.
You get a boat.
Nice. Dr. Xavier, or Stealth Killer, writes, and I'm reading this word for word because I really don't know how else to describe these comments. Welp, got skipped again. Well, also, sorry for being late. I was busy with something else. May I reintroduce myself, or is that not allowed? Anyway, here is a quick random quote. Everyone knows that the best place to hide is insanity. Anyway, here's the joke of the day. SCP-3166 is Gorefield with extra steps. I'm sorry, Tanhony. Anyways, Jason is trying to run away with Fritz, so see you all later. Sinister laugh. Password read Aetheral space. I don't really know how to react to that comment. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We do appreciate the comments, even if we don't quite understand.
Comedy Man Kelp, who is one of my recurring favorites, says, alright, fellas, I got a question for you all. If we take all three SCPs... No. He says, if we take all three SCPs read in the episode, Jessica Lambert, the metal thing, and Gorefield, and place them all into an arena and force them to fight to death, who's winning? My money's on Garf. My money's on the metal one. But Tan, you're the author, so who would win?
I would say the Seed would win physically, but Garf can keep coming back.
Garf would win the psychological battle.
There wouldn't be a winner because Garf has no way to kill the Seed, so it would be a draw between those two, and Jessica Lambert would get killed.
Interesting. Alright, and what's Comedy Man Kelp's presence?
Garf. He's coming.
Sorry, Comedy Man Kelp. Oh, here you go. Dino Tales writes, hello, gay Honey and Dumnell, so you're getting a lump of coal.
We're not reading this one.
I was skipping it!
No,
Alright, he skipped. Okay.
No. It's Christmas.
1. My SCP recommendations are SCP-3300, The Rain, SCP-3125, The Escapee, and SCP-3031, Future Gift. My theme recommendation, anti-memetics.
We will definitely be getting to
3.
At some point. I just need to figure out how to sort of do it, because it'll be a few episodes of action.
Fair enough. 3. Read Aetherial Space. 4. The action directly above must not be done.
Get rid of
5.
it. Skipping the rest of it.
Alright, we're skipping.
No, it's Christmas.
Damn it, Tan, make up your mind! 5. Hold on. So SCP-3166 started when Garfield realized he was a fictional character. Does this mean that other fictional characters might one day realize, release they are fictional and do the same thing as SCP-3166? I would say no, because there are already characters who break the fourth wall in their stories and don't do that.
I did once have an idea. You know when they were doing like Harry Potter book burnings when those came out? I had the idea.
What did you say? You cut out for me.
You know when they were doing like Harry Potter book burnings?
Yeah.
I had an idea for an SCP where like just dead Harry Potter corpses were coming out the books and getting burnt.
Yikes.
But I'd never wrote it because J.K. Rowling's a trash fighter now.
True. And then 6. Happy holidays, Tanhony and Darnell. You still get a piece of coal for your present. Sorry, but you called us Gay Honey and Dumnell, so you're getting coal for Christmas. Unless Tanhony decides to give you mercy.
You can have some cheese.
Adrian Rutherford says, it's not hard to spell John T. You just need to look up who invented leaf water. Also read Either Oral Spades.
You get a cup of Earl Grey hot.
Killer One Gamer One says, for his first comment, no, I appreciate you.
You get a Crown King.
Banker Paul says, I was wondering how my comment got 2 likes in only 6 minutes.
You get your new stand, Made in Heaven.
I feel like he got the best one! What the fuck? Are you sure that's not too much power to give a mortal?
No, it's Christmas.
Quaker Button Nose 128 says, 3127, hell yeah, love that one! Especially since I grew up in Garbin, Illinois. I wonder what 3166 will do when Jim Davis dies. As much as I like pataphysics, I'm really glad it didn't exist in Series 1. I don't even want to think about how much weird wish fulfillment stuff it would have been used for. Yeah, Series 1 and 2 already has enough wish fulfillment.
Yeah. You get a shirt that says, I heart Garmin.
Cade Cullen says, you guys should totally read SCP-4666 or other Christmas SCPs to celebrate Christmas. This episode is our Christmas present to you.
Yeah, we didn't read that specific one because it's a series ahead, and also it would have been a downer. You get
what?
Don't worry about it. You get a giant letter C that crushes your house.
Boris WW says, glad to hear I'm not the only one bothered by the genetically identical thing. I know, right? It's fucking annoying. I hate it. Also, I'll note for posterity, I think he meant posterity, that I was the first one to make the forget about it joke, and you just thought I was angry with you. To be fair, the guy, Hunter, clearly told me it was a joke in his comment, and I would never be angry with you, King. I'm sorry I thought you were angry with me. Your Christmas present is the entire world. It's your oyster.
You also get a crown.
Yes. Killer1Gamer1's second comment is it pronounced Tanhony or Tanhony?
You get a folded piece of paper with the proper pronunciation.
An anomalous writer, for our last comment today, our beloved editor, says, password, read Aetheral Space, time to make that design firm I was thinking of. Smile.
You can't do that. For
what?
Christmas, you will get fired.
No. He's our little employee.
Yeah, you're our little friend. You're our friend.
We love you, Anomalous. And
we appreciate all you guys, especially here in the Christmas season. I know 2020 hasn't been great, but Discovering SCP came out in 2020, so maybe there's a little bit of nice thing there.
Yeah, and you know what our present for you this year is? Our final present to everyone? We're bringing 2021. We're carrying it on the sleigh. Tanhony drops the satellite that allows us to watch Darman videos, sacrificing our entertainment to carry 2021 to the world. True heroic act of self-sacrifice.
Yeah, so next time you hear us, unless I call you up on Discord in the middle of the night to threaten you, we'll be in 2021.
Yeah, it'll be a good year, I promise. I will defeat coronavirus in a single hit.
I'm sorry, I made 2020 happen just as a little joke, but it got out of hand.
Why did you do this?
I thought it would be a little prank.
This reminded me, I was scrolling through my group chat with my IRL friends. We were reminiscing, and literally today, December 24th, I think, exactly 1 year ago, my friend posted the picture of Kirby with the 2020 will be good, and I said, so that was a fucking lie.
In fact, we've been going on how this is the Christmas special. This is actually the Boxing Day special.
This is the what?
The Boxing Day special. It's the day after Christmas this comes out.
Oh, happy Boxing Day. I'll try to punch your lights out, I guess.
Well, we've already seen what happens in Stick Fight. I guess I boxed you.
Yeah, I won.
Remember?
No, I won. The ending. I was the king of the channel.
Are you having memory problems? I won.
The video is posted. It can be viewed.
No, it can't. I'm gaslighting you. It can't.
All right. Bye, everyone. Oh, wait. No. We promised we'd sing a made-up Christmas song. Let's do a couple lines. We'll go back and forth. All right, you do the first line, and I'll go off of that.
Sweet night. Glory
Sweet
night.
night.
Da, da, da. Sephiroth.
Darnell, Tanhony, you could see a new dawn. Christmas is coming, please run. And then the final boss music plays. The Santa's health bar appears.
And that's when you fight the boss.
Yeah, and then Santa goes, ho, 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 I'll take your body in tow.
Hello, my little ho-ho-hos.
All right, bye. Bye.